If you're going to spill the tea, then look impeccably. Colin's adventures. Are you putting on a front? But where was Penelope's gift, Colin? Moving on up, yeah, to the east side. If you haven't seen Queen Charlotte, get it together. Get it together. Hi, and welcome back to Book, Bri and Novel Ness. I'm Bri, and today is a special episode of Book, Bri and Novel Ness because we're talking about Bridgerton Season 3, Part 1. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We would be glad to have you here at Book, Bri and Novel Ness. Did I get all dressed up and ready in Bridgerton fashion? Of course I did, because that's what Queen Charlotte would expect.
Well, you have arrived at the most opportune moment.
If you're going to spill the tea, then look impeccably, okay? In this video, we're talking all things from part 1, but I have not read the books, so there's not gonna be any book spoilers. If you have read the books, please kindly, please do not put any book spoilers in the comments down below, so just in case people haven't read the book. So I'm going to go through all my likes and dislikes of part 1, and then I'm going to talk about what I want from part 2. Okay, the things that I need answered, the things that are going to tie all this season together. So let's start off with what I absolutely liked and loved from part 1. So first being Penelope putting herself first. I liked Penelope realizing what she wants and going right after it. I like the style change, kind of embracing that just for her instead of having Colin at the center of everything. She is advocating for herself and what she wants, and that's what I really love about her character. I liked how even before she got Colin's help, that she was just being herself. Even when she was flirting, and even if it wasn't as successful as she might have wanted it to be, it was just getting her to the realization to not focus on what everyone else is saying and just living her life. And I loved how she didn't mind confrontation with Colin. You messed up and we need to correct whatever attitude that you had in season 2. You got to correct it and you got to apologize correctly. Okay, next up we have Francesca. I really like the introduction of more of this Bridgerton sibling and how she is different from Antony and Daphne and Eloise and everyone. That gives the Bridgerton family a little bit more dimension, even not starting where they usually are up in the room waiting for them to get ready for the introduction into society and to go to see Queen Charlotte, how she's on the piano, so she's focused on music and how intrinsic that is to her character. And then having Lord Kilmartin? Lord Kilmartin, and I'm really enjoying that. So I'm ready for this love story to sweep us off our feet. I love it. The third thing I'm loving is the increase of humor and fun. So the Featherington sisters, their first year of marriage and how that's going, and their introduction of the new husbands. Then Benedict and Penelope flirting and things going right, things going wrong. It just makes for a lot of more humor and fun and brightness to the season that I think is really shining really well in season 3. Lord Debling. I think Lord Debling is a great addition. I like how, since he's a little bit different from everyone, and so is Penelope, the way that Lord Debling presents his charm is a little bit different from everybody else. Similar kind of to Lord Kilmartin, which is refreshing to the show because you don't want to see the same thing. You don't want to see the same thing if, that Antony did that's, intrinsic to him, or that's to Benedict, or that's to Simon. You want to see differences in the way that romantic stories are told. Next up, we have Will and Alice Mondridge. Moving on up to the east side. I do like that addition, how it plays into some of the plot that happened in Queen Charlotte. So if you haven't seen Queen Charlotte,
I beg your pardon?
Pause this video right now and go watch it.
You're joking. Why would I joke about something like that?
Is it sad at some moments? No, is it sad? A lot in that, yes. But is it incredible. Yes. The only spoiler I will tell you is that the stars in the sky will never be the same for you. No. Will never be the same. Now we're in the category of dislikes, okay? And so let's see what I did not like from part 1. First up, Colin's adventures. I'm like, are you putting on a front? But, you know, I think he was actually telling the truth. I'm sorry, Colin, I'm sorry. I wanted to see more of Colin's, or him to talk about more of his adventures. If you go to 17 different places, okay, cities, tell me like what happened there, the culture and the people and the food and, you know, a lot of that. I think for this part of the story, I think it's fine that Colin went out and, you know, was experiencing different things, but at the same time, I think the storyline put it just too heavy on like the audience and was just like, yeah, Colin's cool now. Yeah, this new cool guy. When you start to do that, he becomes not so cool, and then wink at the camera right to you and be like, hey, how you doing? And we were like, Violet notices. So Ryan and his siblings calling him out, be like, dude, like, you're not acting like yourself and we're concerned. Instead of going like, oh, he'll be fine, everything's fine. Quick side note, what were the letters that Colin gave to Penelope? Like, I'd like to know what he wrote to Penelope. Will we ever get to see that revealed? I don't think so. And then I also wrote here, what'd I say? Oh, Penelope a gift from his travels. Everybody else, they made it intentional. They're like, here's the gift from my travels. And it gave it to all the siblings and his mom. It was really sweet. But I'm like, if Penelope is your best friend, where was Penelope's gift, Colin? Because if I go on a trip, or, you know, or you're like, oh, you know, this would be really cool to bring back for my friend, that'd be awesome. Maybe a notebook. You know, they don't have keychains back then, but you know what I mean. Like, what did you bring Penelope? You know? I did, instead of like, oh, I missed you, I wrote you. Come on, Colin. Get it together. Get it together. Second thing I didn't like right now, Benedict's character is not being utilized enough. He's funny, he's cool with the family. I love the character of Benedict Bridgerton, and I think a lot of people do, and we're excited about the fourth season. I did like seeing him talking to Will and Alice and talking to them and talking with that relationship and Lady Danbury, instead of just kind of floating off. And he feels like, he even said like, I feel like I don't have a purpose. And I'm like, wouldn't it be helpful to discover that? That would be nice. Moving on to the next dislike, which I think they can't help, but storyline wise, I know Anthony has been through a lot. Okay, and he finally got his love story with Kate, and it was cute and it was beautiful. Okay. But Colin, a younger brother, and then realizing what is going on with him, Anthony and Benedict, they need to step up, and checking in with him and being like, okay, I know I was a little bit of a rake, basically telling Colin, I was lost. I was, you know, struggling emotionally. I didn't know how to express my emotions. I didn't know that I wanted, you know, that the real love, building on the relationships of these siblings and being like, okay, it's tough out here. What, you know, this is what I'm going through. They don't have to do it all day long. Okay, it could be an hour tea. Help them out. Last thing I didn't like was, that Will and Alice's storyline is not being utilized enough. Like, where do we go from here? Ooh, sorry. Where do we go from here? Since they're in the ton, utilize them. I was talking with Novel Ness, maybe Alice befriends Penelope and helps her, you know, especially when they found out that Colin was helping, you know, Penelope and helping her with Lord Debling. Why isn't that, you know, more explored? And then maybe Will helping Benedict, since Anthony and Kate, you know, have resumed on their honeymoon. Why aren't these characters being utilized? I think people get upset when there are side plots that are not being, their characters are not being fully expressed within the show, and how everything flows together. And the last thing we'll talk about here is what I want to see from part 2. So first, Colin not overreacting to the truth about Lady Whistledown. Colin can react. I know that it was a lot with his family and Lady Whistledown and things, but I don't want him to overreact, because then that's going to affect too much of how we process their love story. I want to see Francesca falling in love, living her best life, incorporating again that music element into their relationship, which is really, really sweet. So hopefully you see more of that. Eloise and Penelope, I want them to reconcile, because as much as it's with Colin and Penelope and, you know, their dynamics, I feel like Eloise and Penelope with their friendship is really heartbreaking, and every time you see it on screen, but they play it so well of them being like really good friends, but this friendship breaking apart. And then Kate and Anthony helping the family, counseling the family, that would be really great, because they need them. And then Penelope getting her happy ending. So that is what I would like to see from part 2. Please feel free to let us know, what would you like to see from part 2 if you're watching Bridgerton season 3. Please let us know in the comments down below, what would you like to see from part 2, and what were your likes and dislikes from part 1. And thank you for being here today and talking about all the tea from Bridgerton part 1. I hope you have a splendid, wonderful, lovely day.